According to the Estonian folk calendar, on April 24th, it is Ussikuningas, the day of the Serpent King. They say that on this day he slithers atop an old stump deep in the forest and lets out a shrieking whistle, a call to council, a summoning of snakes. And that is really all we know. What is discussed in this sacred council is not known. But who is this slithering sovereign of stories and songs? Welcome to Väljal, a gathering place for creatures and characters from Estonian mythology, folk tales and legend. It is said that encountering Ussikuningas can bring luck, fortune and magical powers, so let's descend deeper into the depths of the snake pit and find out more. Ussikuningas is the ruler of serpents, guardian of his kind, a relic of the most ancient days. People once believed not only that he existed, but he walked, or rather slithered, among them. Encounters were whispered of, all the way into the late 20th century. Unlike the Nagas of Hindu mythology or the feathered serpents of Mesoamerica, the Serpent King of Estonia is not very elaborate, but he is no less mysterious. In the old tales and in art, he is simply a very large snake. Once he was described to be 6 swords long, which is about 6 meters or nearly 20 feet. Sometimes he's told to have multiple heads, but he's definitely not a dragon. We don't really have dragons in Estonian lore. The closest creature to a dragon we have is the Põhja konn, the northern frog, but that's a story for another time. Ussikuningas looks different from the other snakes of Estonia. He has skin white as milk, or sometimes grey, or sometimes black. These are all unfamiliar colors to our native serpents, the zigzagged adder, the grass snake, and the slow worm, who isn't really a snake at all but a legless bronze lizard. Some believe that other species of snakes may have once lived here, when the climate was different. Besides being larger than others, what truly sets him apart, what really earns him his crown, is the red crest atop his head, bright as flame, like a rooster's comb, although sometimes he has an actual golden crown. Long ago, it is said people could understand the language of birds and beasts, but that gift was lost. However, Ussikuningas holds the key to animal language. To claim this power, you must be lucky and very brave. You must snatch the red crest, cook it, and eat it. A single sip of the broth could open your ears to the language of every creature. Other tales are gentler. Ussikuningas speaks to you in your own tongue and invites you down into the snake pit to winter with the snakes in silence and shadow. There is this stone there, white and smooth. It drips of sleeping potion for the serpents. And when spring arrives, you emerge changed, hearing every bark, chirp and howl, and understanding it all. In some stories, snakes are sacred, in others, cursed, a duality shaped by 8 centuries of Christian influence. Still, there are mentions of an ancient snake cult, when serpents were revered. People used to keep them as house snakes, to guard the home and catch mice, feeding them milk and letting them sleep in the bed like a pet. On hot summer days, you would ask a snake to curl around your neck to keep you cool. Those who could speak to the snakes were known as ussitark, a snake-wise or a snake charmer. They knew the ussisõnad, or snake spells, words older than language meant to charm, protect, or banish. When snakes disappeared from a place, it was said an ussitark had walked the village's edge, tracing a circle of protection, and saying quite simply, "Go away," and they did. Sometimes Ussikuningas guards a literal treasure, a chest of coins or a hoard of silver and gold. To claim it, you must slay the king and all who follow him. But beware, if you harm him, he will curl into a wheel, tail in mouth like Ouroboros, and roll after you, relentless to catch you and punish you. But if you do succeed, if you eat the crest and keep the secret, riches and wisdom beyond imagination will be yours. But speak too freely of your gift, and it may vanish, just like the serpents from the village edge. And now perhaps this is the perfect time to share one of those stories, the Serpent King's crest. Once there was a horseman who rode through the woods. On a quiet forest road, he saw something strange, a massive grey serpent with a red crest atop his head. He knew this creature, Ussikuningas. They say whoever takes the crown from the serpent's head and eats it gains the gift to understand every bird and every beast on earth, and more than that, riches, happiness, fortune beyond dreams. So the man, quick and bold, snatched the crest from the serpent's head, leapt onto his horse and galloped into the trees. Behind him, Ussikuningas hissed and shrieked and summoned his kin. From every crack and hollow, from root and stone, snakes slithered forth. Small and great, with eyes like coals, fangs like thorns, they gave chase. The man looked back, and his blood turned cold. The snakes took their own tails in their mouths, and rolled like wheels across the ground, gaining upon him fast. They got up, and some even started climbing its flanks, hissing in vengeance. The man was desperate. He tore off his hat and beat them back, but no use. He flung the hat behind him. The snakes shredded it to pieces and kept rolling on. Next came his coat. He threw it off in panic. It was also gone in an instant. Still they came. After a while the man grew desperate and threw off even his trousers. Again they were ripped to rags. Still the serpents chased. His horse was becoming weary and tired, and just then by the road stood a figure. An old grey man with a staff in his hand. He raised his voice and called, "Ride to the field of blue heads. There they cannot touch you." The rider frowned. A field of blue heads? What could that mean? But after a while, ahead, he saw it. A field of flax, flowering linseed, shimmering like a blue sea beneath the sun. That must be it, the field of blue heads. He turned his horse and rode hard into the field. The snakes stopped. They hissed, and then fled back to the forest shadow. Safe at last, the man returned home. He boiled the serpent's crest. He swallowed it. And in that very moment, he understood the world anew. Outside, his dogs were speaking. The herding dog said to the yard dog, "You're lucky. You get to nap here all day. I have to chase cows and bark at sheep." The other replied, "You've got the better deal. You run free while I guard the treasure chest buried beneath the fence post." The man, wide-eyed, grabbed a shovel, dug deep, and there it was, a chest full of gold and silver. He went to his wife and said, "Tonight, give the yard dog a double portion." But she didn't. She gave the dog just a bowl of cold water and not even milk. Later, the man heard the dog speak again. "Did you get your feast?" asked the herding dog. "It was promised, but I only got water, not a crumb of food," answered the yard dog. The man's joy turned to anger. He stormed inside and scolded his wife. "Why didn't you do as I asked? Why didn't you give the dog more food?" His wife stared. "How do you know how much I gave the dog?" "The dogs told me," he said. She laughed. "Oh, come on. People don't understand what animals are saying. Dogs bark. Dogs don't talk." To which he replied, "Well, here's the thing. I found the Serpent King and ate its crest. Now I understand every creature on this earth." Oh well, but in saying that, the man made a great mistake. He was never supposed to tell anyone. For that moment he said it out loud, his gift vanished. From that point on, he could no longer understand the speech of animals and birds.